Hello and welcome to today's webinar on how to use LawClerk for your appellate practice. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Welcome to those of you here live and to those of you maybe watching the replay. I hope you enjoy. So before we get started, my name is Kristen Tyler and I am an attorney. I've practiced in trust and estates. I've had one appellate matter and I did succeed on it. I'm very proud of that. It was on a prove up of a contested will. So, but anyways, I am definitely not an expert in appellate law, but I've gotten to know a lot of great appellate attorneys over the past few years in my time working as one of the co-founders of LawClerk. And so I'm going to try to today give you an overview of how LawClerk works, specifically how appellate attorneys are benefiting from this service, a little bit about our amazing freelancers, and some tips and things to think about to help maximize your benefits from outsourcing. So right out the gate, I will say that one thing has struck me whenever I go to different conferences that really cater more towards attorneys who practice in appellate is the fact that by and large, appellate attorneys seem to catch on to the whole idea of outsourcing a lot faster than others. I think a lot of appellate attorneys, have for years done this. They've outsourced some of the really time-intensive drafting work to a network of contract lawyers that they've cultivated themselves. And what we've done with LawClerk is really hopefully made it a lot easier for you to find other attorneys like that who want to do that written work, help you with the briefing, and get some of that time-consuming work off of your plate. So hats off to all you appellate attorneys. Hopefully you may not even need this webinar because you seem to just already get this process. But again, I want to give you a walkthrough. And here's my contact information if you have follow-ups afterwards. All right, so my guess is if you're here, you already know what LawClerk is. But in case you are just finding us for the first time, at LawClerk, we help busy attorneys, mostly solo attorneys and smaller firms, connect with our nationwide network of freelance lawyers. We have people in all 50 states and all different practice areas, and you can work with them on a project-by-project basis. You can work with them on an ongoing subscription-style working relationship. We'll talk about that later. But we want to give solos and small firms flexible tools they need to staff their firm, to grow their firm, to get work done and help as many clients as possible. So that's what we're all about. Okay, so my guess is if you're here, you are also kind of very, mindful and aware of what's the best use of your time. When you first start your firm, especially for all you solos, you're doing everything. You are answering the phones and working on the marketing and doing the intake and going to court and all the legal work too. It's a lot. And it's natural as you take on more and more clients and you have more work that you need to find ways to work smarter, not harder. And for a lot of attorneys, that means finding systems and processes, whether those are tech solutions or human-powered solutions, to get some of that work off of your plate and get it done. So outsourcing is a really smart way to go for these considerations. There's a ton of benefits to outsourcing. It can save you money. It can help you find the right kind of talent you need when you need it for how much help that you need. It can save on overhead. And, at the end of the day, it can just help you build a lean, mean machine that can adapt to whatever type of staffing and situation comes along with your cases. What can you outsource? I like to say when it comes to outsourcing, the sky's the limit. Get creative. Whatever is your pain point that is bogging you down because you either don't have time to do the work or you don't want to do the work, that is a prime candidate to think about outsourcing. The big ones that we think about a lot are, of course, research projects. Those could take hours and hours and hours. Drafting any sort of document, and today we'll be focusing mainly on appellate briefs, but those could be research memos, letters, correspondence, other types of documents that come up in your practice. So don't forget that, we're going to be focusing on appellate briefs today, but if you have other work in your practice, it can flow into that as well. Discovery work, helping with marketing. If there's a really hot, timely case in the press and you want to get a blog up on your website about it to try to get some benefit from the SEO and search terms on it and connect with potential clients, that's a great way to collaborate with a freelance lawyer, get some help to write that blog, and take advantage of those very timely and unique marketing opportunities as they come up. So, and there's really so much more. Even if you are having to deal with answering the same question over and over again from your clients, you could take their question and, you know, have a freelancer write up a blog for you or an FAQ style guide for either your website or a handout, whatever you need. So get creative. And if you're not quite sure how to approach it, that's another way that our amazing team here at Law Clerk can help talk it through with you and just find a solution to that delegation need. Okay, I'm gonna go to my next slide. Okay. If you haven't already, the best way to get started is, of course, to register for an account with Law Clerk. You'll visit us at lawclerk.legal, hit sign up, and you can make a freelancer account if you're interested in picking up some extra work, or if you're slammed and you need some help, you would register for a hiring attorney account. There's no fee to sign up for either of those types of accounts, and there's no monthly fee. All of the work is done. You actually pay when you're doing work through the site, is how it works, okay? So no fee to sign up, no monthly fee. And I will mention for any of you who might be watching this and you're curious about freelancing, you know, there has never been a better time to sign up and become a freelance lawyer. There is huge demand growing significantly every single week, every single month. And if it's something you've ever daydreamt about and thought about whether or not you could make it as a freelance lawyer and kind of chart your own legal career, this is a really good time to do that, especially thanks to tools like Law Clerk, which make it a lot easier for you to connect with other attorneys and find regular freelance work. You know, another way to get started, check out our resources that we have on our website. We have a ton, whether you like to read things, you know, our ultimate guide is fantastic. If you like to learn, excuse me, by video, we have a ton of videos on our YouTube channel similar to this that can help give you those resources as well. So take advantage of those. But at the end of the day, you really just got to pick a piece of work, pick a project and give it a try, give it a go. And my guess is if you're watching this, it might be an appellate brief that you're debating if you have time to write yourself, or you're debating if you want to write it yourself because you've been living the case. So, you know, pick that project and give it a try. I think you'll see as we work through this that you really have very little to lose. Okay, so again, the big question is, you know, you're curious to know what other appellate attorneys are outsourcing and what kind of success they're seeing with it. So we see appellate briefs all the time, every week. We had one yesterday, actually, that I included in my examples from a longtime user who's used us repeatedly for briefs. I'll highlight that one, get there. But, you know, by and large, we see briefs at all levels, state level, circuit court, U.S. Supreme Court, you know, and really the minimum we're ever going to see those is like $1,500. And usually that's a situation where the attorney needs just a portion of the brief researched or written, but we see them upwards of 20,000 and beyond. So we see a really big scope of work and issues, and it's an exciting area. So let's look at a few examples, and then I'm going to show you where you can find a lot of examples if you like examples. So here's an immigration appeal, $1,500. The attorney on the project details noted that the client had received an asylum denial. They, you know, need a brief about why the judge erred. And I love that they outlined how many hours they thought the work would take approximately to give the freelancer an idea of the scope of work. And that they also noted, you know, the client understands that her case was hard to win, but she wants to get another look from the BIA, and they wanted this freelancer's help to draft it. So this was an immigration appeal that we saw go through. Here's one. This is the one from our longtime user, an employment lawyer on the East Coast, needed help to draft an appellate brief on a whistleblower case involving the government. $2,000, and you know, said that 2 or 3 elements of the case were proven. So really the appeal was as to a third. And again, just gave great details here, $2,000, a really reasonable price. And a good thing here is the attorney gave plenty of time for the freelancer to complete this work. You know, this is one you don't want to wait till the 11th hour if you've got a 30-page brief that needs to be written. You want to get it posted and given to the freelancer ASAP so they can do their best work with plenty of time. Here is a writ petition that one of our freelancers did that was going to the U.S. Supreme Court. Kind of interesting. Now, one thing I want to highlight in this is maybe you're like $3,500 for a Supreme Court writ. That seems low. This was only one small portion of the entire writ. The attorney, the client came to us and said, you know, my team, we've got this thing keyed up, but there's one issue giving us a hard time. And we really need to see if there's a freelancer out there who knows this evidentiary issue. It was an issue involving dictum, which was a word I hadn't heard since law school. But, so they were able to find a freelancer very well versed with this issue who had written law journal articles on it, in fact, and they came in and only researched and wrote that one very specific part of the brief. And they turned it around pretty quick. They needed it in like about 4 or 5 days. So that was the background on this one. Really interesting project that we saw go through the site. Here's one, circuit court appeal to the 5th Circuit. Big price tag on this, $15,000. This was one, an appeal involving healthcare fraud. And, they were very clear here, this is going to take a lot of research and a lot of writing, and you have to condense this into a maximum 30-page brief. So pretty interesting one here that we saw go through. This one was about a year ago, I think. Of course, we see some in family law as well. That's a very big area of law that we see on the site. This was a child custody appeal brief. I forget what state it was in, but here again, it was very helpful that they showed the transcript was 80 pages. So of course they're going to need to read that. And then they estimated how much time it would take to prepare the brief, and, invited questions. It's always good to invite an open chain of communication with your freelancer to make sure they come to you to clarify the scope whenever they have any concerns about exactly what they should be doing. Okay, here's an appeal to the 1st Circuit. This one involved a bankruptcy case with a decision out of Puerto Rico that they wanted to appeal. The client was a bank. And so, we see these, again, we see criminal appeals, bankruptcy appeals, immigration, family law. We see kind of everything, tax court appeals, business law, of course. We see the whole gamut. So whatever area is your focus, if you need help, we have someone that can help get that help to you and draft those time-consuming briefs. Here's a state court brief. I don't know exactly the issues of the case, but they wanted someone in that state or familiar that could become familiar. I like that. And okay, so here's what I promised. If you like these examples, what I want you to do is go to lawclerk.legal. Up in this, I hope you can see it here, the top bar, we have attorney resources. Click there, and then we have a bunch of resources. In the middle of, if you scroll down, we have sample projects by area of law. And here we will show you, if you click on appellate, this is a really intensive, detailed document that shows a lot of examples. It includes the fee paid, the description of the work, and then also the rating that the attorney gave the freelancer when the work was completed. So if you want to see a lot more of these, or if you want your own handy guide of all of these, go check that out on our site, print it out, download it, whatever, it's there to help. So now another really common question we get with attorneys considering outsourcing, especially those who maybe haven't done it before, is, well, who are the freelancers? So this just gives you a small intro to who our amazing freelancers are. We have thousands and thousands of freelancers nationwide. The first gentleman here was a former big law attorney, 25 plus years experience and practice, and now he's working as a law professor and likes to do some freelance work on the side. This next woman, Narisa, she's really one of our top rated appellate lawyers out on the East Coast. She does a lot of work in the area of criminal appeals, and people love working with her. As far as I know, she still has 100% like 5-star rating. So the gentleman in the middle had a really cool externship with the 9th Circuit and came out of school knowing he wanted to immediately become a freelancer, and did that. The next woman, has her own practice, but then turns to freelancing and helping write briefs when her own practice slows down, which is less and less now. And we can tell her practice has grown, and we're really happy for her. And the last gentleman here on my far right, John, he's actually semi-retired. He's a 40-plus year attorney, has litigated, he's argued before the U.S. Supreme Court, does a lot of bankruptcy appellate work, and he just genuinely loves the practice of law, doesn't want to give it up, and freelancing is a great way for him to still flex his legal skills in retirement, but not have the day-to-day stress of running his own practice and managing his own clients and caseload. All right, so another thing I want to make sure we're clear on, if you are new to outsourcing, is to make it crystal clear that you can make money with outsourcing. Don't feel like by giving a piece of work to a freelancer, you're losing an opportunity yourself to build a client. There is still a way that your firm can generate revenue from that work. So by and large, the ethics rules, opinions, everything says that an attorney may bill the time of a freelance lawyer to a client at a reasonable market rate. Of course, reasonable market rate is going to mean a lot of different things all across the country, across practice areas. But regardless if you're billing hourly or flat fee, there are ways to bill a client a reasonable rate on a freelancer's work and still generate a profit margin. So let's look at an example. Let's say you're doing an hourly piece of work, and these are just easy numbers. You have a piece of work you're going to send to the freelancer. Maybe you need them to help research something for you or analyze some documents. You agree to pay the freelancer a flat fee of $1,000. They then go and do the work. They report they worked 8.5 hours. You determine the market rate's $200 an hour. Again, this is an hourly billing model example. So 8.5 hours times $200 would be $1,700 that you're billing to the client. Keeping in mind that you paid $1,000 to get the work done, that is a profit of $700 on just one project, okay? Now imagine if you did that once a month, every week for a month, that's $2,800. Take that times 12 months. Those are really significant numbers, especially for a solo attorney or a small firm. And this is a way for you to get additional work done without you having to burn the midnight oil, work a ton of hours, and get yourself in the fast track to burnout, because we don't want that. So keep in mind, this is just a real straightforward example of these numbers, but we can help you, figure out what feels like a reasonable market rate if ever you need to talk it through with us. That's another thing that our team can do. Okay, another really important tip for success with outsourcing is using the Law Clerk Teams feature. Now, what is that? Okay, very early on, it was some of the attorneys that became quick adapters and started using Law Clerk frequently. They said, hey, the system is great. I found some really talented people, but I would like a way to be able to go back to my favorite people time and time again. And so what we did was build a feature called Teams, so that now when you find a freelancer and they do a great job for you, you can add them to a team. And then in the future, you can send work directly to them without posting it to the whole marketplace and getting applications. So we've seen a lot of our top users build teams in very creative ways. I want to show you a couple of those. So if you have a couple of different practice areas, you could build different teams for different practice areas. So if your practice spans, family law, criminal defense, personal injury, whatever it may be, you could build custom teams for each of those areas. Now, of course, if you are strictly an appellate practice attorney, then this might not apply to you. But this is one thing to keep in mind if you do have a couple of different practice areas within your firm. If you are strictly an appellate team, then maybe you want to build a team by skill set. Maybe you need people that are really great at helping review and summarize documents or transcripts. Maybe you need people to help with discovery or research. Maybe not motion practice, but you definitely would need that appellate team to help draft documents, or maybe you just need someone to help with the appendices, because those can be really time consuming. Whatever are your pain points in your process, build teams of attorneys to help you with those skills to help cross those tasks off your own to-do list. And of course, if you're working full cases, whether those are appellate cases or regular litigation, you could build teams of a single freelancer, multiple freelancers, to really get ingrained in a specific case and get to know the facts and the client and help you navigate the entire life of that case. So that's another great way to build a team and collaborate with a freelancer on an ongoing basis. And speaking of ongoing basis, if that is something that sounds really appealing to you, no pun intended, then you might want to check out our new subscription-based program. So, again, a lot of attorneys that have worked with us on a project-by-project basis said, this is great, but I'd really like to take it to the next level. What can we do? So we built this subscription program, which launched just a few months ago in January 2021, where you can tell us how much help you need each month, or it goes on 4-week increments, and which level of help you need. We have a junior level attorney, an experienced attorney, a senior attorney. And so you can say, hey, I need 40 hours of help per month with my appellate practice from a senior level attorney. We go find applicants for you, present those applicants to you. You can interview them if you would like, which is a little bit different than our project work where we don't do interviews. And then once you select the right person, we match you up and you get to work. So the program does run in increments of 10 hours. And this is something that if you're interested, you could talk to someone on our team. The best person is your dedicated law clerk advisor, and they can help get you set up to explore if subscription is right for you. And again, this is something if you put in an order, you have an interest, we will go pre-vet candidates, present them to you. And if you don't find the right person, fine, there's no strings attached. But I think you're going to be pretty pleasantly surprised with the quality of freelance talent that is out there and available to help you. So, few last reminders, and then if anyone on the live program has questions, please feel free to drop those. If you have questions you'd like to send in, you can reach out to support@lawclerk.legal if you're watching the replay on YouTube in the future. But you know, big reminder here, take advantage of working with your dedicated Law Clerk advisor. When you register with Law Clerk and set up an account, you will automatically be matched up with what we call a dedicated Law Clerk advisor. They are there to be kind of like your concierge to help you, you know, troubleshoot if you are not quite sure where to click on something in the site, although it is very user-friendly. You know, that happens sometimes. They can help you figure out how to price a project or figure out how much help you need in a subscription type working relationship. They are there, so lean on them, lean on their experience, because they each work with several hundred attorneys nationwide, and they see how other attorneys are succeeding with delegation, and they can help you do the same. So definitely take advantage of working with that advisor as a partner in outsourcing. Don't forget also, no monthly fees. So just to be a part of Law Clerk and have it available to you when you need help is a really smart move. So if you don't already have an account, I encourage you to do that today. And also remember that we stand behind the work of our freelancers. On the project-based work side, we have a satisfaction guarantee on every single project. So if you're not happy with the work you get for whatever reason, let us know. We are going to work it out with you, and we want to earn your business and keep you getting the help you need. So if there's ever a problem, please let us know and we will help troubleshoot that. So with that being said, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining me today for this webinar on how to use Law Clerk for an appellate practice. And if you haven't already done so, this is a great time to connect with us on social media, whether you're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, you can find us there. If you like videos like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you'll be notified when new videos are released, which we do pretty regularly. And, you know, if you're on Instagram, we have a fun Instagram as well. The handle for Instagram is @SharkOnTheRun. It's all fun on Instagram. So if you like that, go check it out. But I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you at lawclerk.legal very soon.